Hello friends, and welcome to my 37 weeks pregnant update with our third baby. I'm 37 weeks today and I'm up early before my kiddos to give you this update, so if I look sleepy, it's because I just woke up. But I'm taking this few minutes of quiet to try to get a video and just update what's been going on between 36 and 37 weeks. I feel like there's been a big shift with the baby moving, and that causes other symptoms. And at this point, at 37 weeks, baby is considered near term. And so really we're going into the window where they could be born at any time and be full term. So this week has felt like a shift. My last update, I shared different symptoms that had been going on, and the baby had turned head down a while ago but was posterior, meaning their back was to my back. And this week the baby shifted to where their back is to my belly, and so they're anterior, and I feel like the head has gone lower, and so I'm getting more pelvic pressure and more pressure in my back, having a lot more intense and uncomfortable Braxton Hicks. And so over the last few days I had Braxton Hicks contractions throughout the day and then throughout the next day, irregularly, not where I could really time them, that they were so many minutes apart, but just noticing multiple within the hour, and then throughout the day just lots and lots of Braxton Hicks, lots of more intense feelings. And so 3 days of that, and I was thinking, could this be early labor? Because I started feeling more pressure and more back pain, and I thought, I don't want to ignore this if it is early labor. And so, man, getting near the end of pregnancy like just plays tricks on your mind, and you're like, is this it? Is this it? And I was thinking, I'm not full term yet. This baby could come out at any time, but like, let's let them cook a little longer. And so this week was kind of like a false alarm, but I was getting more and more of those early labor signs. And so that's what I want to talk about today, is kind of the pregnancy symptoms that are changing and shifting now that I'm getting closer to full term, and now that baby is near term at 37 weeks, because it does feel different than even just last week. So much can change in just a few days, and I wanted to share just from my experience what it's been like. So here's some of the pregnancy symptoms that have changed in the last week-ish that started playing tricks on my mind. So I was having increased discharge, which is normal at the end of pregnancy as your body, as your cervix softens and you start dilation. And so that's a sign you can be looking for. I haven't had any spotting or bloody show or anything like that, just an increase in the discharge. And I did have some constipation before, and that's kind of getting better. And so like, you want that to happen, you want the constipation to go away and for your body to be able to clean itself out, get ready for baby. And so I did want to mention that if any mamas are watching that are pregnant, you're having trouble with constipation, you can take a stool softener for that, and it'll help to not have as much pressure going on down there and to be able to stay regular. Speaking of that, when you are having contractions, your body is squeezing your belly and you're very tight and just uncomfortable. Anyway, so whatever comfort measures you can do, whether it's a hot shower, running water on your back, or getting someone to put counter pressure on your back, just like moving, changing positions. If you're laying down and it's uncomfortable, try walking around, or if you're sitting and laying back. I was doing that, trying to lay back to relax, but it wasn't helping, so I was leaning forward more, either on a birth ball or something like a countertop where I could have that support but also be in a forward motion. So changing and having gentle movements, changing positions was really helpful for me when I was getting more uncomfortable through those irregular contractions. I was also noticing that I would get more nauseous and queasy during contractions, like they're more noticeable. Instead of me just feeling the tightening, I was also feeling nauseous, like I might throw up, or that I needed some air, or need to go drink some water, or just make myself relax, like intentionally take a deep breath. I've had some heartburn and some indigestion this week, and really that hasn't been a big deal throughout much of my pregnancy, and I'm thankful for that because it feels pretty miserable. And so these things started stacking throughout the week where I thought, okay, there's this and there's this and there's this. And so of course I go to Google and I'm looking up like early labor signs and like which ones are normal, what's false labor, what's real labor, just to kind of refresh my mind, because it just seemed like things were getting more intense and stronger. And I thought, is this because I'm at the end of pregnancy and there's just lots of things going on? Which is probably the answer. And when you're looking at real labor, you want regular contractions and dilation. All right, somebody woke up, so I've got a little buddy to help me with the rest of my video here. He's very snuggly in the morning. What a sweet boy. So I was talking about labor signs and looking for dilation. So I actually did a deep dive on Google and tried to figure out how to check my own cervix to see if I was dilated. And I hadn't really done that before. I had looked into it for fertility and to see if you're ovulating, but I hadn't really tried to check my cervix for dilation before. And so I looked into that and tried, and I'm not sure if I was measuring correctly to see if I am slightly dilated, but you can also walk around for several weeks a few centimeters dilated and not actually be in labor yet. And so that is a sign, but if it's not increasing, like, it could just mean there's weeks to go. So at 37 weeks, there's 3 weeks till my due date, but with the pattern of my other two coming later than that, like past 41 weeks, almost 42 weeks, it could be a month from now. And so that's such a wild idea. Like, it could be this week, could be next week, could be 3 weeks, could be 4 weeks, could be 5 weeks, you know, longest case scenario. But I really don't feel like it's going to be that long with all these labor signs that are already happening. And the baby is in a really good position, putting pressure down there. So I feel like whenever labor contractions are happening, it's going to be progressive, and like it's probably going to be another fast labor like last time. Like, it feels like a bowling ball between my legs, like the baby could just fall out at any time. And I know there's a whole process to that, but in my mind I'm thinking this could go fast, so just be ready for anything. It probably won't take days, but sometimes the early labor takes a while to ramp up to active labor. So that's what I was watching for with these subtle and like slight things and the stacking of the symptoms. But I'm thankful that baby is in a good position. They're having a lot of good movement. And so I know that they are strong, that they're just getting ready, and every day in the womb they are growing and getting stronger and ready to come. So it's getting really exciting. And I'm feeling the urgency of like the end of pregnancy, the last few weeks, getting things in order. I've had a very strong nesting urge to do some cleaning projects that are normally not me, like scrubbing down the doors in my house. And normally I would not do that, but I just had the urge, like I need to scrub the fingerprints off the doors of the house. And so I actually gave my little girl a bowl of soapy water and a washcloth, and I was like, clean whatever you want, like let's just go for it. And she was so excited to help me clean. So I'm definitely gonna lean into that. And if she's interested in something, you know, give her a broom or show her how to do something, like here's a washcloth. And so I'm getting her to help me clean when she's interested, but it's only if she feels like it and if it's fun. So I'm trying to include her in what I'm doing, but definitely feeling those nesting urges. I've gotten a decluttering bag where I want to just like throw things out or go through piles of things and finish those little things that I won't have time for once baby is here. But that nesting urge is strong. I've been really tired at the end of the day, especially having those irregular contractions. It was just wearing my body out, and by the end of the day I was so tired. So I've had some early bedtimes this week, like literally 6 p.m. I'm ready to say goodnight, adios, I'm out, see you tomorrow. Thankfully my husband is really helpful with putting the kids to bed, so sometimes they'll just go play for a few more hours and I'll go to bed early because I know I'm going to be up in the middle of the night. Sometimes I'm wide awake early in the morning, and so I'm trying to get a jump start on that by going to bed earlier if possible and just not planning much for the evenings, not expecting myself to have energy at that point. So after I do some kind of cooking or cleaning or activity, it seems like that's my window of energy, and then the energy is gone. I did want to mention that I am having colostrum now and noticing like some slight leaking, and so my milk's getting ready to feed the baby. And I had stopped nursing around 6 months pregnant, and so I had been like kind of dry for a couple months, and so I'm just noticing that that's ramping up again. My body's getting ready to breastfeed, and so I am showing signs of colostrum, so that's exciting to be starting a new breastfeeding journey with this new baby, and I'm glad to have had a little break in between. I've had some round ligament pain this week, and that happened around the time where my contractions were getting stronger, and so it's harder to walk. It was more lower pressure, the round ligaments around your pelvic muscles, and so I'm having pelvic pain. One thing that helped me with that is to go to the chiropractor and get an adjustment and do some gentle stretches, some leg stretches, and to try to make sure that everything is at least adjusted correctly where it's supposed to be, and that, you know, hopefully those gentle stretches will help it to not be so achy. And so that's something that I have been doing every week during pregnancy. Highly recommend chiropractic care. That's made a big difference in just like all the changes that your body goes through, and it's great for postpartum too, so I'm very thankful to have that option. I did go swimming yesterday because I was having all of that lower back pain pressure, the pelvic pressure, and it just felt like it was getting more intense. I needed some kind of relief. So I went swimming, and I was just like walking back and forth in the water where it covered my belly, and also like leaning forward on the side of the pool to be able to relax those muscles. And so swimming really helped because I feel lighter in the water. It took off some of that pressure, and that's something that was really helpful in my previous pregnancies too. So I would recommend getting in the water if possible and doing some gentle movement. I also packed a hospital bag because it felt like those early labor signs were like a last minute, like, hey, you really need to get your things in order. And I'm like, I'm not ready. I felt like if this is it, I am not ready. So I went and packed a hospital bag. Okay, here we go. You can color while you're sitting with me. So I packed a hospital bag. We are planning a home birth, and so I'm not planning to go to the hospital, but it's good to be prepared for anything. And so here's my hospital bag. I've actually got it in a KeaBabies diaper bag backpack, and it has a ton of pockets in it. I really like all the pockets, and would recommend getting something easy like this. I tried to just pack the essentials and not pack a whole bunch of stuff, because if we do go to the hospital, we hopefully won't be there that long. So like a change of clothes for me and my husband, and new clothes for the baby, a few things like that, like a toothbrush and a phone charger, and a few snacks. That's probably a good idea. Snacks are always a good idea, right? I also called for backup this week. My babysitter got a full-time job, and so I was looking for another babysitter, and she's starting this week. So I'm glad to have help with the older kids, to have somebody come over during the week while I'm working and help with their playtime and lunchtime and a nap time. Man, that makes a big difference just to have another set of hands around and somebody who is good with kids. So I'm thankful for that. I also have been talking to my family about what we're gonna do when the baby comes and who's gonna take care of the kids, and making those things in place. I feel like that's helpful at the end, is to get things lined up and in order. I also finished the home birth kit, and we have everything ready for supplies that we'll need for a home birth, and looking forward to that. I was feeling like, oh, I want to do this and I want to do this, and then this week I thought I probably need to stay close to home and not plan any like trips or extra things. I've been saying that, but I still will feel like, oh yeah, we'll go to Nashville, like we'll drive an hour for something. And now I'm like, maybe we should just come right back home and just be close to home, because if this is a fast labor this time with the baby, I just don't want to be on the side of the road giving birth in the car or by myself. So I'm like, that's just a bad idea. I want to be close to home. And so I'm just feeling that that urge to just get cozy and get close to home, get ready for anything, and ask for help, ask for backup, get people on board with whatever we need and be ready for this baby to cook a little longer for a few more weeks or come anytime. So that is where we're at this point. Are you excited for the new baby? Are they coming so soon? We're excited to find out if it's a girl or a boy. He said, if it's a boy, I want to yell, it's a boy. And Addie said, if it's a girl, I want to yell, it's a girl. So we might have them help us announce it because they're excited to find out too. Since we don't know and we're finding out at the birth, that's going to be a really fun surprise this time. I want to invite you to subscribe to this channel for more updates coming soon, and I'll see you in the next video. Bear. Do you want to say bye? Bear. Bye. Bye-bye.